YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome, A's fans, to a 7-game win streak. Any coincidence that based on that, I'm here to do a video of how special this season has been or how special it has the potential to be? Recent events, the trade deadline, the team with 11 wins in their last 13 games. Yeah, this win streak, but just all of a sudden, a lot of optimism, a lot of promise surrounding a group that honestly came in with pretty high expectations to begin with. I just feel like what they've done lately has complemented everything else. What I want to do in this video is also eventually give you 3 ideas. Suggest 3 things, 3 individual accolades for the Oakland A's this season. I think it's that time. We're, 47 games left of the regular season. It's about time to start figuring out certain individuals who really deserve some recognition on the team. And obviously, we're more interested in a group result, like get to the playoffs, get to the ALCS, get to the World Series, win it. But as for right now, I really want to isolate 3 individuals who, it has come to the forefront of my mind how deserving they are. I'll get to that in a second. I'll also get to just straight up Q&A a little bit later on with this video. But what I want to do is let the time build up, let more of an audience build up, and then we'll get into some Q&A later on. So the nature of special for this season for the Oakland A's, I think it comes in a multitude of ways. Number one, they've already had a 13-game win streak, and that was on the heels of a 1-7 start to their season. That was obviously ages ago, but this is very much a similar group, not an identical group. It's a very similar group to back then. You saw how they responded. You see what they're capable of. They won 13 back then in a row. Now they've won 11 of 13. They've won 7 in a row. And I just feel like the additions at the deadline, Starling Marte, Josh Harrison, Yan Gomes, and Andrew Chafin, none of these players, let's be honest, are the name of Chris Bryant. And of course I say that because we're here in the Bay Area, and that's who the Giants were fortunate enough to land. These are not the top echelon names that were out there. 10 All-Stars changed teams across Major League Baseball at the trade deadline. But these 4 individuals were the perfect fits for this club. They didn't change the Oakland A's. They only complemented this group, made them better. Starling Marte, another multi-hit game. The guy's stealing bases like they're going out of style. What does he have, 8 already? Josh Harrison, and I certainly hope that the hamstring is now okay. He got hit by a pitch on the finger the other night. That wasn't the issue of why he left the game today. But his versatility, his kind of swag, honestly, Marte's too. You can just see that they've come from their respective teams from Washington and Florida. These guys were playing well. They literally brought that to the table, changed leagues, and brought that to the table for the Oakland A's. I love the fact that Yan Gomes is an established veteran. It's a true 1-2 punch with he and Sean Murphy. And Andrew Chafin is just, honestly, because he's not an everyday player, he's going to get left out of maybe the conversation, left out of the mix. Although that certainly should not be the case. You saw him close out a game last night. 2 nights ago. Losing track. Another solid left-handed piece in that Oakland bullpen. So just to reiterate, you're looking at a team that I think got dramatically better in the last couple weeks. And, hitting with runners in scoring position, certainly scoring 17 runs today. Granted, that's not going to happen all the time. In fact, that's never even happened in Oakland history, a 17-0 shutout. Today was the first time that ever happened. But I think what you're seeing is a season that is all of a sudden, it was going from pedestrian to something special, potentially. The A's are a game and a half behind the Houston Astros, and with, 47 left to go, I mean, that is the definition of striking distance. The A's have always been a great second half team. I'm starting to feel it in my gut that something extra might be here. And it hasn't necessarily shown itself all season long. You haven't had your star players like Chapman always producing. Olson has been. It's cooled off a little bit lately, but fortunately the A's don't have to rely on him. The A's do not have to be a one-bat team like they were for a month or two. It all relied on, did Olson homer or not? And was Jed Lowry on base when Olson homered? A lot of times he wasn't. A lot of times nobody was. Olson had 11 or 12 solo homers in a row. But the A's aren't about that anymore. They're getting runners on, they're moving them over, and they're driving them in. And they're also getting solid contributions from the starting rotation. The bullpen has gone from a question mark this season to what I think is a pretty clear exclamation point as of late. And I do understand. I'm talking about a 7-game win streak and respective sweeps of the Texas Rangers and Cleveland. And now they're about to go back to Texas, to Arlington, and play the Rangers 3 more times this weekend. But hey, that's the opportunity on paper to go out and win 3 more. Make this a 10-game win streak. And I really do feel like if the A's can win 10 in a row here, at some point Houston's going to falter, lose a couple games. The A's are going to find themselves right back in a division lead, which I don't even know that that's the most important thing here and now today. So long as they remain in striking distance down the stretch, that's all you can ask for. They still have a handful of games head-to-head against Houston, which might be the ultimate difference makers. Okay, I want to talk about a couple individual awards and recognitions that I think should happen, and I want to begin with Seabass, or as we maybe should call him, Cybass. I really do feel like Chris Bassitt should at least be in the Cy Young conversation for the American League. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he needs to win it or say that that's a mandatory thing. I realize there's a lot of other talented individuals, and this is a hefty competition, but take a look at American League pitching leaders. Now, this is not just starters, and I'm also realizing because Bassitt won his 12th game today, this is not yet updated on Baseball Reference, but it still paints a picture. He is now the wins leader in the American League with 12. His ERA into today, this was before throwing 6 scoreless innings, 3.19. His WAR is 3.1. That's right up there. Win-loss percentage. Ultimately, when you pitch, does your team win or lose? A 786 win percentage. Walks and hits per innings pitched. He's one of the leaders there. Hits per 9 innings, 7.3. Walks per 9 innings, just a tick over 2. He's right up there in strikeouts. Has made all his starts, I want to say. Yeah, all 23. Has a complete game under his belt. Obviously has that shutout under his belt. And I could go on and on about the stats. But you look at a guy right here who has clearly become the ace of a pretty talented rotation, and a guy who, by the way, like literally 2 years ago was maybe a 6th starter. Why can't I ever say that right? 6th starter. That's what he was penciled in at. Not that the A's thought necessarily he was in that role, but that's what a lot of outsiders said. Yeah, he'll be a 6th starter for that rotation. He'll pitch, but, that's where we put him. He is no doubt the ace. He got snubbed in the first go-around for being an all-star in 2020, and I thought that was pathetic in the matter of how could a guy be, pitching to the Cy Young conversation in that caliber of pitchers, and he wasn't even an all-star the first time through? Are you serious? I'll show you here Chris Bassitt's season stats. Again, 12-3. The ERA has gone down from 3.19, I don't know, to probably 3.1 something. But he's now also got 9 road wins in a row as I do this live stream, which ties an Oakland franchise record. The things he says at the podium after the games, the way he handles himself on the mound, 144 innings pitched. He's also an American League leader in that category as well, too. This guy is a horse. Even on the days where he doesn't have it, even on the days where he struggles, he still gets through it and still puts his team in a chance to win. So for me, this season, I'm not here to demand that Chris Bassitt win the Cy Young. I see the other names out there, and it's kind of apples and oranges when you compare everybody. No 2 pitchers are identical, but if we're going to talk about finalists, if we're going to talk about names that should be in that last conversation, for me, Chris Bassitt should definitely be there. All right, let's move on to Jed Lowry. Jed Lowry, in my eyes, already should be American League Comeback Player of the Year. What I'm saying is he doesn't even need to play one more game for me based on where he's been the last 2 seasons and what he's doing again in this season. And to show you here the last handful of winners, all these players, Perez, Carrasco, Price, Moustakas, Trumbo, Fielder, Young, all these players, you kind of have to understand how this goes. They were all a certain something before they went through something else. And what is that something else? Could be a family issue, could be a health issue, could be an off-the-field issue. Adversity, right? Comeback does not necessarily mean you were great and then you just had an off year and then you had another great year. It doesn't necessarily mean that. Usually there's something else to it. And for Jed Lowry, it was a handful of injuries. And you look at his career here, all those years with Boston, then Houston, then the A's, then Houston, then the A's, and then he went to the Mets for 2019 and 2020. I realize the stats on here don't even show it to you as I blow it up here. 2020 didn't play any games last season. All he played in 2019 were 9 games, 8 plate appearances, and 7 total at-bats. So since the 2018 season, since he last played 157 games with the A's in 2018, their first kind of real full breakout year of 97 wins, he's only played before this year 9 games before that. I know Mets fans were frustrated. But A's fans definitely are not. This is the same Jed Lowry who signed a minor league contract coming into this season with the A's. I remember when that happened. In fact, I might have been doing a live stream or something else here as it happened, and I thought to myself, well, that's a great insurance move. You know what Jed's all about. At the very least, veteran leadership, a player who can come into spring training and compete for it, and at the very worst, he'll be in the minor leagues and maybe work his way back to get an opportunity, and, we'll see how it goes. But good signing, solid. Who would have thought that 110, 12 games into the season, Jed Lowry is the team's cleanup hitter on an everyday basis. Barrels up more baseballs than almost anybody else on the team, goes back to hitting doubles like they're going out of style. It's been amazing what Jed Lowry has done this season. I don't have runners in scoring position average here, but that has been incredible. He's one of the American League leaders at that. The batting average is at 256, but he's been an everyday player, 421 plate appearances. Again, going from 8 in 2 years to 421 this year. Still very serviceable as a second baseman, but quite honestly, they've been having him DH a lot here down the stretch. Now with Harrison on the team and playing some second, Tony Kemp playing second, it's great to have Jed's bat in the lineup, if nothing else. And also this, we did an interview with Elvis Andrus after last night's win. This is like a decade veteran Elvis Andrus who said, between my at-bats, I go talk to Jed Lowry. I go pick Jed Lowry's brain about what he's seeing in the opposition pitching and how to attack it. I mean, what more do I need to say? What more do I need to explain? I'm telling you that Jed Lowry, and this is hard. Missing 2 full seasons of Major League Baseball, your timing, your rhythm. Jed's 37 years old, 37 and change. Like, to come back this late in his career at this age after truly debilitating injuries and look like he never missed a beat, super impressive. And I don't know who else is out there with impressive stories or heartwarming situations, but just in terms of on-field performance, American League Comeback Player of the Year, it's got to be Jed Lowry for 2021. All right, last but not least, in terms of individual awards, this next one's going to be kind of interesting and maybe almost difficult to explain. I'm showing you here the game log of James Caprillion this season. Now, he's a rookie. I don't think he's in the running for Rookie of the Year. He's also a great pitcher, but not to the extent of like a Chris Bassett and a Cy Young. If there was a Rookie Pitcher of the Year award, maybe even Rookie Starter of the Year award, I feel like James Caprillion would have to be in that conversation, if not likely a winner. You remember his debut in Major League Baseball, that first start, I should say, May 12th at Fenway Park. Oh yeah, kid, welcome to your first big league start. You're facing the Red Sox at Fenway. And he pitched well. 5 innings, 4 hits. His dad, Doug, was in the stands cheering him on. We've seen that a bunch, by the way. Just an amazing performance. He wins that game, a no decision in the second game, but the A's win. He gets another win in his third start. And you can kind of see how the trajectory of this season has gone. More wins than losses. He's 6-4. I honestly feel like he deserves much better than that, the way it's gone. His ERA has slowly climbed up to 3.22. It was in the 1s and 2s here, 2.90, 2.65. This one against the Padres, this start here on July 27th, it raised it significantly. And then his last time out, 6 innings of work against the Rangers, 3 hits and 2 runs. And James Kaprielian, for me, is impressive because he's another player that has been with this organization for so long. And the opportunity for him to even pitch healthy has not been there. The A's got him in the Sonny Gray deal. He was a first-round draft pick, 16th overall, by the Yankees in 2015. And was it 2016 that the Sonny Gray trade happened? I'm trying to recall off the top of my head. A lot of the years start to melt in. But he hadn't even pitched for the A's. We'll go back and just double check. Double check the trajectory here and the stats of how it's gone. I'm looking at his 2021 game log here, but you look at the career, which I don't understand. It's not loading here. Just give me the stats. There we go. Nope, still not it. All right. I'm ditching that page for a second. But the point is that he overcame so many injuries to be able to pitch for the Oakland A's and finally make his debut and finally get this opportunity as a starter. It's been tremendous to see him run away with this opportunity. And watching him pitch, like I wanted to pull up the Baseball Savant page here on his pitch arsenal. He's a meat and potatoes pitcher. Fastball, changeup, those are his 2 dominant pitches, 58 and 18% of the time. Mixes in a slider. It's a little bit faster than the changeup. And barely ever uses the curveball. Here are those pitches. Again, you can see how often he uses them. You can kind of see the spin rate here. That 4-seamer has quite a bit of spin to it. It's been impressive to see him battle this year, to see him jump in a rotation that he was not part of, that the A's needed him. Mike Fiers has not been healthy this year. Opens the door for James Kaprielian. And Cole Irvin is also a great story too. He's not a rookie by any means, but I also feel like Cole Irvin embodies a lot of what I'm saying about the opportunity and taking advantage of it and the success that James Kaprielian is having. So this is kind of an interesting one. I don't know exactly what I'm trying to nominate him for. I'm just saying that in terms of pitching performance, overcoming adversity, taking advantage of opportunity, and being a rookie, he's doing all those things. I don't even need to mention what he's been through in life. He lost his mom a couple years back. And, that's why his dad, Doug, is there in full support. And that's why I think a lot of the players really respond to him and respect him and appreciate him as a teammate. I just think every time Kaprielian pitches, it's fun to watch. He battles. I think it's a great story. I think he deserves some type of recognition this year. I'm just not exactly sure what it is. All right. And that is now finally going to bring me to a little Q&A session here. I apologize because I needed to get those things out there. I wanted to talk about them. And so now we'll get to the Q&A here. AJ, can you see that? Is that on the screen? Oh, no, not again. The graphics are screwed up. Sick shirt, Brody. AJ, thank you. I really do appreciate that. All right, what I have to do here for a second, I got to do this all over again. I know you're going to see some things on the screen that don't make a lot of sense here. I got to go in and fix this this little chroma key situation. That's not it. I thought I had it taken care of. Come on. This is what you guys really came here to see, isn't it? I thought this was that way. Now, is it that way? Yeah, I'm doing this live. There we go. There we go. Okay, and then I can take that off the screen. Okay. I'm so sorry. That was bugging me, the transparency on the graphic. Oh, now you can see the bottom of my Mac. Congratulations, Brody. You're a dummy. All right, AJ, thank you. This shirt, lastdivebar.com. The Oakland Coliseum is baseball's last dive bar. You saw Chris Bassett sporting one of these the other day. I've had this for a while. I also have the Ride the Wave shirt that I was rocking the other day. So, AJ, I appreciate that. Annual festival? I don't think you want that. First off, I don't think anybody would show up. And you also really do want to do that in pandemic times? I don't know. It's crazy how Liam Hendricks got the win. Yeah, I would agree with you in the Field of Dreams game. The Yankees thought they won in the top of the ninth, which I think even adds to the best part of this. I just did a whole Field of Dreams video, by the way. They have to do that game again. They have to do that game 3 times over next season. And maybe, you have to play one game. I think you can't play an entire series between 2 teams there. I just don't know if that works. But if one team could start their series, if 2 teams could start a series on a Monday, then 2 other teams could come in and start a series on a Wednesday, and then 2 other teams could start a series on a Friday. Does that work? If it does, I would love to see Field of Dreams week next year, because I really do think that'd be awesome. I should be in the A's Hall of Fame. Dark Knight, I appreciate that, and I love your Caprillion avatar right there. Look, if I can last another 20 or 30 years, maybe I would even consider your compliment. I don't know if I can consider that yet. Been around it a bit. Been around it for a lot of my adult life. Fortunately, I've been very lucky for that. But I appreciate the compliment nonetheless. Andyland, I am with you. Be even more special if they could agree on the new ballpark. Well, we'll see what progress is being made. Last I heard, all quiet on a lot of fronts. That's fine, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here in the rest of this calendar year. I really am. Dark Knight, you wouldn't mind if the A's move so they could play at the Field of Dreams? No, they just need to get invited next year. Who would you like to see the A's play at the Field of Dreams, by the way? What would be your Field of Dreams dream matchup for the A's? Would you do like an A's-Royals thing? I mean, Kansas City, geographically not that far from Iowa, certainly closer to Dyersville than Oakland is. You know, Oakland, Kansas City, that type of thing, or Oakland, Philadelphia, if you really want to go there. Who's going to get it sooner? Oh, man. The A's or the Sharks? I've answered this question before, and I think my best reaction is this, because if I say one or the other, somebody's going to get their feelings hurt, and that's not what I intend to do, but I'm going to be truthful with this. In my lifetime, I've already seen the Oakland A's win a World Series. I've seen them play in 3 World Series, 88, 89, and 90. I was young, I was very young, but I vividly remember what that was like, how popular the green and gold was, and how cool my starter jacket looked when I wore it to school. So because I've already seen the A's win a World Series, I think what I need to see first or next is the Sharks win a Stanley Cup. Now, it's not to say that I don't want the A's to win another World Series. Quite honestly, the way their team is trending and where the Sharks are at, struggling the last couple years, it's lined up for the A's to have more instant success. In fact, the Sharks, I want to share this, the Sharks, in franchise history of 30 years, they've never not made the playoffs 3 seasons in a row. Right now, they're sitting on 2 in a row. That's going to be up against them this season. To avoid that, but is it really avoiding that? No. In reality, it's getting back to the postseason, punching your ticket. That's what it's really about. But I also do want to say it does feel pretty critical that they avoid not having Game 82 be the last one of their season. So if you're asking me who's going to get it sooner, clearly the A's are lined up for that right now. But who would it warm my heart more to see win it? The San Jose Sharks. Again, I'm being selfish on that. I understand. All right, let's see what else is out there. Oh, yeah. The side view cam. Yeah, you need more GoPro footage? You know, I feel like I don't use this camera enough. And the other thing I realized is I cleaned it off up here the other day. I was wondering why there was some like weird light reflections on the screen. I couldn't figure it out. So I'm up there like playing with the light, moving it around. Then I said, you know, what if I just, and I took my t-shirt and I cleaned the lens. What if I just clean the lens a little bit? And all of a sudden the shot looked a lot better. So go figure, Brazil. You probably should have done that a long time ago. All right, we'll go back to the main camera here. Olson would be MVP if it wasn't for someone on the Angels or Blue Jays. You mean Ohtani or Vlad Jr.? You know what? I'm okay that Matt Olson is probably not going to be in that conversation. Maybe he should be, but I'm okay if he's not. He's had a great season. Matt Olson has accomplished tremendous things this year, cutting his strikeouts down in half. The average at a lot of times was up like 60, 70, 80 points, I want to say, from last year. He did not have a great 2020 offensively. Last year, he still led the team in RBI. He led the team in homers in the shortened season. But he hit a $195 for average, I want to say. And you got to credit Matt Olson for turning that around in 2021. To just say, well, you know what, I'm going to cut my strikeouts down in half from last year to this year. Easier said than done. It doesn't happen without a lot of work, a lot of patience, flexibility, changing your approach. That's not easy. I mean, I don't think the struggles for him last year were him, but I'm also here to say that turning that around on a dime, all that and still to hit home runs. I also want to say, and it's been mentioned before, that he was on a streak of 11 solo homers in a row, something like that. And that's not his fault. I'm telling you that he could have helped the team get a couple more wins. He could have, 13, 14, 15 more RBI if there were just some runners on base when he went through that stretch, which I want to say was like from early June to almost late July. It was a long time of just straight solo homers for Matty O. Love the fact that he was at the All-Star game. And by the way, I do see him now at first base a lot of times when there's a player who also was at the All-Star game, gets on first base, those two chit-chat. I think that was a great networking opportunity for Matt Olson. Part of the home run derby, he crushed it in that first round, still didn't advance. Look, I'm fine. I'm pretty sure, based on the amount of scoops lately, that he should be in the running for another Gold Glove at first base. Last year was not normal that he did not win. But in terms of MVP, I agree. Popularity contest. Ohtani's out there, Vlad Jr.'s out there, one plays in the East, one has a whole other continent watching his every move, and rightfully so. Come on, is Matt Olson pitching and hitting? No, he's playing a great defensive first base, but I get it. And that's why I'm saying I'm okay if Ole's not in that conversation. I'm happy with the season that he's been having. Let's see what else is here. Oh, Tsunami Polls. I hope I'm saying that right. Thanks for the A's content. You've needed this on YouTube for years. And I'm also realizing that can you see right through that right there? You can also see my mouse cursor. Something is wrong with my graphics system. See, stuff like that. I work on this to try and make it perfect, and then when it doesn't happen in real life, it gets me. But Tsunami, I really appreciate that. Thanks for jumping in the super chat. I want to tell everybody, as I always do about this, what these monetary donations go to is just improving all of this stuff, helping me live stream better, cleaner, more often, with more resources, more toys and tools. I want to put all that I earn in the super chat right back into this. And to your point, that's why I'm trying to build this YouTube platform out here to something bigger and hopefully better over time, because I'm with you. There's not necessarily always a place like that. So let me just drop this in right here, right now. If you're watching and you're not subscribing already, just give me 2 seconds. Just swipe up or whatever you have to do and then tap subscribe. And if you think this video is any good by the end of it, give me a thumbs up. That'll help other people see the live stream, and also any other video that you like on the channel. Just a reminder to throw up the old thumbs up on it. But yeah, back to this. I'm sorry that so you can see my mouse on there. Why the why the text isn't black colored like it should be. Oh, there you go. Bassett's ERA is now 3.06. Went down significantly. I love it. But to the point, this is an all-star, a Cy Young conversation player right now. I'm calling him Cy Bass. Cy Bass. Get it? Imagine if we had Tommy LaStella with the new add-ons. I also don't know if you run out of room at some point. But I think, Alexis, by the way, and that's a great thought, I loved what Tommy LaStella brought to the A's last season. I thought that was phenomenal. He injected that team. He made players around him better by what he was doing. And he also helped the team by what he was doing. But I feel like this season you have 4 Tommy LaStellas between Marte, Harrison, Gomes, and Chafin in different ways. You have literally multiple Tommy LaStellas and everything I loved about him last season. So I'll take your point and run with it. I think it's a great call. King of the Golden State. All this A's content makes this channel instantly better than 95.7 The Game. Well, King, I'll let that speak for itself. I'll choose to not elaborate on that, but I do appreciate you being here, and I appreciate the super chat. Again, it all goes right back to this channel. And look, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm here trying to build out this channel with A's and Sharks content. I know there's a lot of you out there who are interested in this stuff, and I want to make this a free-form platform for it. Ooh, free-form platform. You know what I'm saying. So, thanks, King. I really do appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Chris, I love the streams too. I've got the home studio set up. This is pretty easy to do. And I realize I'm a ways back on the chat. Let me try and hustle through some of this. Let me see here. Late night streams are back with organized content and visual aids too. Yeah, again, I'm telling you, I'm really trying to improve it. Favorite pizza topping? Ooh, let's get controversial here. Let me tell you some things that I'm not a fan of. Mushrooms, anchovies. Why would you do that? If you want this salty, just put salt on it, I guess. Or put some pepperoni on it. If you want salty, do that. Why anchovies? Why would you literally take a perfect pizza and put anchovies on it? I'm not going to hate on pineapple. I'll eat a pineapple pizza. It's not my favorite thing. I also think if you load up the veggies too much on the pizza, like putting whole chunks of broccoli, like chopped up broccoli or just the florets, but like a whole stalk of broccoli, I've seen that before. Like, what are we doing here? I'll pull that off and eat it separately, but why on the pizza? My favorite overall topping, though, olives. I like green bell peppers, and I like onions, but olives for me. And I also really like artichoke hearts and artichokes, or, artichoke topping on there. But for me, olives are the best. You could not put enough olives on there. Like, if you'd have one, when you make the pizza and you have one grab and you kind of scatter it around, I need 2 or 3 hands, 2 or 3 handfuls. Olives are the #1 pizza topping. Don't at me. No, that's on Twitter. Well, just comment below, whatever you think about that. Let's see what else we have here. Do you see the A's getting to 97 wins again? They'd have to win 2/3 of their remaining games. To do that, a challenge for sure. I agree. And I'll be honest here, I think the Astros, right now at last projection, they're lucky to get to about 97 wins. I just don't know if you're going to see that high count for whoever wins the AL West. Actually, to put it this way, 97 wins would likely win somebody the division, the AL West, whether it's Oakland or Houston. But I actually think that it's going to be more like 95 is the division winner. Could be the A's that get there, could be Houston. And I think the other team's going to have 92 or 93. This is a 2-horse race. And that's been established. They're both going to finish close. I really don't think the division's going to be separated by more than 3 games. So the final stretch is important. What remains head-to-head is important. Houston getting Alex Bregman back for them is going to be important. As soon as the A's come back from this road trip, 40 games remaining, 22 are at home, only 18 on the road. That's going to be important for them to hopefully capitalize and take advantage. So I'll be fully honest here. Getting to 97 to this point is possible. I'm not here to say it's likely, but I'm also not here to say it's necessary to do what they want to do immediately, and that is win the division. It may not take 97 to do it this year. It may take 94, 95. All right, let's move on here. Is Cal High Sports Bay Area still a thing? I'm pretty sure. And look, is school still a thing? Were high school sports still a thing? All of last year. Clearly, it was a crazy world, crazy time. So I believe so. I don't know how that went in covering high school games. But, I believe the show does still exist. I certainly hope it does. High schoolers need it. And I'll tell you what, somebody, I know this is probably being asked based on my background in doing high school sports focus in the early and mid 2000s, even late 2000s. It's crazy. I don't know that a show like that would still hit the same way today that it used to. And that's just because live TV is not the same as it used to be. Back then, Friday nights, the show was live. There was no, highlights on your phone on YouTube afterwards. On Twitter, like now kids and families and people in general, they just want to see instant. They want to see it and share it instantly. Hey, look at my touchdown. Here it was. I'll share the clip with grandma and grandpa. I'll share it with all my followers, put it on Facebook, da-da-da. Back then it was everybody gather around the TV. We know that the sports focus camera was at our football game, our basketball game, our baseball game. Now let's see the highlights that they shot, what they're going to show, what they edited it down to, what they're going to say about our game. And that's why the responsibility was on us to always try and make every highlight entertaining. We saw the people at the games. Now we want to make sure that we do their team and their players and their athletes and their families justice. That was a great show. It was a really great learning experience for me. I took a lot of pride in it. I was heartbroken. I had a chip on my shoulder when it was sent off to sea without anybody on the boat. They just kind of pushed it off the dock and said, everybody's terminated, show's gone, see you later. We don't have any use for you. I took that personally. But, yeah, Sports Focus was a great show. I had a lot of fun with that. Have we talked to Dave Cavill about coming back on a pregame live to talk about the state of the A's in Oakland? Rick, I feel like at this point there may be another opportunity for that, but I do feel like we would need some more developments. The reason we had him on a while back was to really clear the air about what was going on, things that were being said, what the A's were asking for, what they were trying to do, where the process was at, a lot of clarifications because that was necessary. That was, and I it seemed like an educational thing more than any other way that we tried to present it. And I think it worked. I think a lot of people learned a lot of things about the process that they weren't even sure on. They'd heard about it, but not fully. So I would say that let's wait until there are some more developments and also some more developments that can be publicly discussed before we have them on. But certainly, we will. That's no question. And also, I think we need to fan it out a little bit to other people closely involved in this process, whether they're politicians, any other guest that makes sense. I think we need to go in those directions. A's Phillies in the Field of Dreams game. I see that. I think A's Royals or A's Phillies makes a lot of sense. And then you could go with the, really old school throwbacks for both teams, the history, of sharing or both teams with connections to respective cities. There's a lot there. There definitely is. Check out my Twitter feed, by the way. AJ Strong has come up with, it's a Sharks A's mashup hockey jersey featuring Logan Couture as captain of the Oakland A's on a hockey sweater. It's a thing of beauty. It's Fort Knox gold. You like that reference? It's great. It's a great mashup. He's got some pictures. Yeah. And I believe it's for sale. So if you're interested in that, there you go. Dylan, that's a great one, man. They should play a game where they filmed Moneyball. Yeah, right here at the last dive bar, the Oakland Coliseum. You know what's crazy is the season that they were doing that, the season they were filming the movie, the Coliseum was essentially off limits from like an hour after the game was being played to literally 1 or 2 o'clock the next day. There were a few times I showed up to the Coliseum and like, I'm not even talking Coliseum security. I'm talking like whoever the film company was, production security, not letting you in the ballpark because they didn't want anybody, and there were, cell phones back then or just cameras and there was Twitter back then. They didn't want anybody taking pictures to expose the scenes they were shooting, to give any idea what this movie was about. Certainly Brad Pitt and company and Jonah Heim wanted some privacy in it, but it was a lot, that Coliseum was locked down during those filming sessions. I did happen to see 1 or 2 things being wrapped up, which I thought was very interesting. Like they would literally put up all brand new signs and 2002 stuff up, and then they'd take it down for the games and for the real games, and then they'd put it right back up. They shot a lot on road trips. It was an interesting year when they did Moneyball, and I remember seeing it. For the first time at the theater, and there's enough reality to make you go, oh yeah, that was it. That was very accurate. That looks like the A's clubhouse, or that looks like Voose's office, or whatever. And then there's some other things that happen where I'm like, that's not how it happened. Or that's not how it goes. Or that's not who that is. I mean, the fact that the big three were not depicted in the movie, Xavi wasn't depicted in the movie. I mean, it is what it is. But I still like it. I think it's a good movie. You know what? Moneyball to me is a lot like Ted Lasso. What do I mean by that? When I heard the movie was being made about the streak and Billy Beane and the Oakland A's, I thought, well, what could the movie possibly be that we don't already know, or that's more interesting than we already know? And if you fabricate stuff, it's going to feel half real, but mostly Hollywood. Like, how are you going to make Moneyball interesting? And it was. There's a lot of human elements there that made the story interesting. And I also feel the exact same way about Ted Lasso. Apple TV, by the way, if you're not watching that series, I think 3 episodes have just been put out, season 2. Ted Lasso was a promo. Was it for NBC Sports and the EPL? It was like, hey, here's an American college football coach who, goes to coach a football team, a soccer team across the pond. And, he brings all of his southern United States way of life to Europe. But like, come on, you can't make a show out of that. And if you can, how many episodes is it going to be? It's not going to be very good. But I watched the hell out of that show. It's tremendous. The acting, the storylines, the writing. It's a very good show. So Moneyball and Ted Lasso are parallels in that way. Both something that you wouldn't think could be stretched out into a respective Hollywood movie or a respective streaming series on Apple TV, but both, I think, fit the bill of entertainment very well. Alex, great question. Will there be fans at SAP Center this year? I mean, this is an ever-changing, fluid situation. And as of this moment, the idea is to have fans either show proof of vaccination or show proof of a negative COVID test within the prior 72 hours. We're saying this here in mid-August. I mean, the first NHL game is about 2 months away from now. In fact, October 16th is the first home game against Winnipeg. Do you think Do you think you know what's going to happen in 2 months from now? Do you remember where we were 2 months ago? I actually do. I think we were in a much better spot. So I don't know how exactly this is changing or what it might be like, but you'd be hard-pressed, I think, to maintain the belief that there wouldn't be fans at SAP Center this year. Like, maybe there's limits. Maybe masks are mandatory at all times. You can't do that. People do need to eat and drink while they're there. You know, it's a very precarious situation. It's not a situation that I envy. It's also not the decision completely, entirely, or almost at all of the San Jose Sharks. You have the county of Santa Clara in there. You have the state with their input. I mean, the CDC might have something to say. The NHL might have something to say. It's unfortunate that I think we were all looking forward to a season of getting back to normal or pretty darn close to it. And as of right now, you know, eventually in the season, it does seem like next year can have that. Next season can have that. Again, it's going to play into 2022, and then there's going to be a 3-week Olympic break. So there's a lot of time to make it still right, but I just don't know based on where we're at now and that first home game in approximately 60-something days. I don't know how normal it's going to look. Again, to answer your question, Alex, quite simply, will there be fans there? I've got a pretty high feeling the answer is yes. Will it be limited to a certain amount? Potentially. I think that's up in the air right now. No, I mean, I think 17,562. It seems like a hard. It seems like a hard thing to predict right now. A hard thing to say would be a certainty. But if you're asking fans or not, I'm pretty sure fans will be there with all the proper precautions. All right, let's see what else we have here. Just looking at the chat. Wait, what did I say? Jonah Heim? What's... Wait. Wait a second. What's his name? Jonah... Oh, Jonah Hill. Oh, my gosh. Why did I say Jonah Heim? Wait a second. Wait. Jonah Hill. Wait, what's his name? Oh, Jonah Hill. You idiot, Brazil. Why did I say that? Why did I say Jonah Heim? Dummy. All right, let's see what else we have here. His Chappie struggles at the plate this season due to his injury, his season-ending injury from last season. Well, Captain Obvious, I don't want to answer for Matt Chapman on this, but I think in the streaky nature of this season, you've seen him on, do you have a 13-game hit streak? And then he had a 23-game on-base streak or something like that. I mean, he's had a couple runs that show you that it's all still there. And of course it is. And Matt Chapman has also already set a bar for himself at this major league level. We know what to expect. We know that defense is still his strong suit, but the offense is definitely there to a strong potential, to a very strong contribution. And you're just not seeing it on a regular basis this season. Now, today, he walked 5 times, which is amazing. That still shows me the patience he's got, the approach he's got. He's not throwing stuff away. He's also not throwing it at a wall trying to see what sticks. To your point, Captain Obvious, that is your screen name, I do think it's possible that this season he's been fighting through injury, through the recovery of it. I'm not saying he's still hurt. What I'm saying is that there may be some things to totally relearn or that are still not comfortable for him, that hip surgery is that big of a deal and takes extra time to play through, to get right, to feel right. Matt Chapman is an absolute stud and a warrior. If there's a guy who's just going to bear down and battle through it, it's Matt Chapman. And if there's also a guy who's probably not going to, share with you every single detail about what hurts and this and that, he doesn't want to make excuses. He's not that type of guy. It's also Matt Chapman. And this is one of the things over the years that's always frustrated me in covering sports is that if I do uncover something about somebody, whether it's ever shared publicly or not, I feel bad for them. Because I'm not saying this is the case at all with Chappie, or I know that, but there have been other athletes on the A's and Sharks that I know are dealing with something physically debilitating, and it's affecting their, opportunity to perform. It's affecting what they do on the ice or on the baseball field. But they're too proud or they're too strategic to share it. And then fans are like, what's going on with that? Or who is so-and-so? Well, he's trying to play a playoff game with a separated shoulder. That's what's going on. I can't tell you that. So it's, again, I'm not here to make excuses for him. I'm not, I am here to say that, and Bip Roberts put this out there the other day, players of his caliber, players who what they're all about, like him, they're entitled to have a bad year, especially coming off of what he did. And are we saying are we saying it's a bad year? It's not up to his capabilities, but I can picture worse, And I know he's striking out a lot lately, and I think the swing and timing is and getting the bat around, and there's a lot to that hip. And I do think there is. I'm not saying it's hurting him or bothering him, but I'm saying that maybe he's still catching up from it. And it's a serious injury. All right, let's see here. 100%. Bloxy plays. Is that Bloxy the cat right there? Is that what that is? Kelly Green is better than all of their other jerseys. I love wedding gown white. I love the road grays. I used to love the Fort Knox golds. I wish they'd bring those back. In fact, there's another video here on my channel about the Ultimate A's jersey set. I would also take the home hat. I would dump the road hat, take the home hat on the road with you for those road grays. But I digress. Kelly Green, the one that they've been wearing here on this road trip and this win streak, Kelly Green is where it's at. And I remember the day that they were debuted, and I was kind of meh. Is that the word I'm trying to use here? I was kind of meh on the Kelly Greens. And then I saw him for the first time in action at the Coliseum. I think it was a Friday night game. I'm like, whoa, those things look sharp. And let me just put it to you this way. I only own a single Oakland A's, current jersey. I do have some from growing up still. But I own, no, that's not the only one I own. Oh, okay, but the one that hangs in my closet at home here, Kelly Green, Brazil, number 6 on the back, and I've been number 6 a lot longer than Bo Mill has. So, and he knows that he knows my affection for number 6. Gamer Athletics, I appreciate you jumping in the super chat. I really do. And like I said before, all the super chat contributions, they go directly right back here into the YouTube studio, this channel, things that I'm doing to try and make it bigger and better. And on that note, let me just share with you. So you're saying, well, what kind of stuff do you do to the channel? So one thing that I don't have that I would really like to have is the opportunity to do live streams similar to this at work during baseball games from the office. So what I would need for that, by the way, this little device right here, it's called an A10 Mini Pro ISO. It's a video switcher by Blackmagic Design. It's awesome. This is the device right now that's actually streaming all of this to you. It's putting the graphics on it, changes the channel. I can do a bunch of different things here, but changes the channel, changes the video shot. Oh, I'm up here. I would like to get another one of these that I can put in a travel case, and also not a monitor like that one, but a monitor like that one, a little small one like that over there that I could bring with me and keep it work. So I could do live streams like this during games. And I mean live streams of the quality of this, where the video's not choppy, it sounds good, all that stuff. So those are the kind of things that I'm building up the funds to purchase those things and do more, again, for this channel and ultimately for you guys. So, Gamer, I appreciate that. Oh, and I see your question here, so let me take that. You know what? Thanks for the shirt. I appreciate that. Baseball's last dive bar. You know, I was a bit surprised in Wendelken being the player who was DFA'd. I really was. And I clearly know that they needed to make room for Puck. By the way, Puck's been magnificent. I'm also not surprised as they try and balance out the righty-lefty thing. And I don't even want to get into some of the other names that I thought would be DFA'd. I was a bit surprised when Delkin had been around for a while. He had been reliable for a while. Maybe not so much this year. Also, I think he was injured about 5-6 weeks this year, and maybe the comeback wasn't going to be immediate or he wasn't feeling right. You know, what the A's know in DFAing a player is much different than what you and I know. And rightfully so. So maybe there were some other things going on. I know he's already been picked up. I certainly wish him the best. I'm glad he's in the National League and not to face him because I do think he's talented, and I do think the capability for him to get back to it is right there. But I was surprised. I really was. You may or may not be biased on Wendelken. No, I liked him. I liked him in 2020 especially. I think that was the year it was last season, right? Where he was really reliable. Or was it parts of 19 too? But you know, clearly he had emerged. He had emerged and this year had lost a little bit and they needed to make room for Puck. Let's see here. Hope you can do some of these during the Sharks season while you're heading back to CV with no radio coverage. After 25 minutes, by the time we get to the car, nothing about the Sharks. Yeah, you know what? I started doing a lot of these last year. After Sharks games, I would just come on, do a quick 10-minute live stream. I mean, this one, man, is a whopper. I'm almost at an hour. Yeah, and that's like I was saying before, you know, with the equipment purchases, stuff I want to do, I might be able to do it right from the office, right before I even leave. So that'd be awesome, honestly, from my standpoint, the ability to do that. You named your Siamese cat after me? Really? Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope Brody's a good kitty for you. I've never had a cat. Not here to talk bad about cats. I just really love dogs. I love all animals too. Let's be honest. I really love all animals. But I'd be interested in seeing Brody the Siamese cat. Oh, talking about the A's, Okie. Haven't thought about it. I mean, it's messy. That one's messy. Like, could I bring myself to, you know, the emotions, the feelings, the last game thing? If my body language enough doesn't show you how awkward I feel about that, and it's rough. A's have the fourth hardest remaining schedule based of opponents' win percentage. So yeah, you don't know about the 97 wins. But yeah, Jack, great point. I am very interested to see that White Sox A's series. That one's been circled on my calendar for quite some time. Will Oakland get to go up against Liam Hendricks? Actually, I hope not, because I hope that, you know, obviously he'd be in a save situation likely, although their bullpen is quite loaded. I think they have multiple closing options. To your point, but the A's have also had, I mean, even at the All-Star break, they've already had the fourth hardest schedule, I think, in was it the American League or baseball? All of baseball, I think, in the second half. My point is, look, and they've just won 11 of 13, and I know who the opponents were. I get all that, and this was a chance and a stretch to do well. But I'm also here to say that at some points, it doesn't matter who the A's are playing. If they're playing well, if they're doing their thing, there's not a lot of teams I look at the opponent and say, well, they're going to win the series. Like, for example, when the A's see the Yankees coming up pretty soon, or when the A's see the Giants or the Astros coming up pretty soon, the way they're playing right now, tell me that you think it's an automatic thing that the Giants, Yankees, or Astros would instantly win a series over the A's. You can't say that. So, but I'm also here to agree with you on this, that I don't know about 97 wins either. I don't know about 97 for the Astros or the A's. I said it a little bit ago, 94, 95 might win the division. And the other team is probably going to get 90, 91, 92, something like that. A's bullpen has been the MVP for August. I wholeheartedly agree. This past series, they have been lights out, near perfect in Cleveland. And, you know, the bullpen has gone from relative question mark to pretty defiant exclamation point. It really has. And, you know, offense, which was there for a while, then totally disappeared, especially with runners in scoring position. Now that has come back to fruition. They're almost clicking right now, you know, this streak. When they won 13 in a row, they were feeling it. This streak right here, though, is more of a look of clicking on all cylinders than even the 13-game win streak was. So we'll see how long it lasts, and we'll see where it takes them. All right, let me just do a couple more here. I took that personally. Yeah, when I was talking about getting laid off earlier, was that 2007? Yeah, it's only 14 years ago. You know, I did take that personally. I did. Apart from Eklund, which Sharks prospect are you most looking forward to? Is Dahlin going to be around? Honestly, I don't know. Merkley at some point, you know, I got to do more of a hard look at this upcoming training camp of the prospects. You know, last year we just couldn't do that. It was impossible. So I didn't really, I felt behind the curve all year on players coming up. And because of that, even going into this year, I still feel behind that curve. So I'm just throwing names out there, to be honest with you, but I think I'll have a better grasp on that later this month into early next month. More impressive in today's game, Chappie's 5 walks or Mitchie's 2 bombs. No, look, Moreland has hit multiple homers in a game, 15 or 16 times before. Has Chapman ever walked 5 times? Has any A's player ever walked 5 times before in a game? Yes, they have. But the only names that have done that are now Matt Chapman, Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire. Ricky Henderson did it, and not in his second tour, but in his first time with the A's. Forget what 80s year that was. Let me go back to the stats here because I'm trying to pull this off the top of my head, and I don't have it, but now I will. So 5 Oakland players have walked. No. Yeah, 5 have walked. No. 5 have walked 5 times in a game. I got it right. Chapman did it today. McGwire did it in 97. Canseco did it in 92. Yeah, I was right. Ricky did it in 82. April 8th, 1982. 5 days after my first birthday. And Billy North did it in September of 1973. So you saw history kind of made today, tying a Oakland record. Yeah, I know. The A's should play a game where they found Angels in the outfield. You know what? You guys are... I'm going to tweet these now. I'm going to steal this material as my own and say, maybe the A's should play where Moneyball was filmed. Maybe the A's should play where Angels in the Outfield was filmed. Oh, man. And now, okay, now I see where I'm at here in the chat. I'm all the way back on Jonah Heim. Yeah, I know I said Jonah Heim. I get it. I meant Jonah Hill. Jonah Walk-Off Heim. What was I doing right there? I was talking about Moneyball. I said Jonah Heim instead of Jonah Hill. All right, now I see people talking about Ted Lasso. Oh, man, I am so far behind. Hey, Thomas, thank you so much for being part of the Super Chat. I appreciate you for being here. I appreciate you for the contribution. It's going to make the channel better. Predictions for the Sharks. Okay. I still think the Sharks are a wow move away from changing their team dramatically. I do like their additions. I like Reimer. I like Bonino. I like Cogliano. I like that. I like adding more known commodities to the group. Clearly, there have been some things in the media lately that would indicate there's some tension in the team still, and I think there's some things to be sorted out there. How you do that, I don't know. What I'm saying is what options exist, or how deep is this divide? What's really going on? How deep is it? Not here to speculate. Not here to not on the team, believe it or not. But I think there are still some things to be figured out before this group can ultimately push forward, get to a playoff spot. And that's what they have to be shooting for this time around. Just get into the playoffs. I know for all the 2010s, being in the playoffs was like a sure thing. Like literally, here's opening night, drop the puck. Oh, Sharks just made the playoffs. Honestly, like think about the 2009-10 season. Think about the 2012-13 season. Literally drop the puck. Sharks are in the playoffs. Done. No questions. But I mean, we have to refocus or readjust expectations. Just making the playoffs is a big first right step back for them. I think if you look at their roster, they should be capable of it. But if you look at their last several seasons, they have not been able to come together as a group. And I think they've tried to rely on probably too many younger players, and they wanted to give a lot of younger players opportunities that just didn't pan out. And so I obviously think that was, costly in terms of wins and losses. It was good for experience. But that's why I think they're trying to get a little bit older, more veteran. And, you have a new, fresh slate of goaltenders. Your coach is still relatively new with the group and all of this. He's been around for a while, but as the head coach, about to entertain a first full NHL season. So, if you're asking me predictions of wins, losses, where will they finish? I can't even do that right now. But if you're asking me predictions of expectations, I think what they have to do is make the playoffs. They've never, as a franchise, missed 3 years in a row. They've been around 3 decades. Even in their worst of stretches, they've never not made it 3 years in a row. Let's hope that stands, if you catch my drift. Thomas, thanks again, man, for being here. All right, let's see what else. Aiden De Silva, you and Shooty were my childhood. Was your childhood like, 9 years ago, 2012, when Shooty and I were doing the Bernie lean? I mean, it might be. Aiden, I don't know how old you are, but thank you for saying that. Thank you for being here. Look, I'm trying to always, be here for you guys. TV is a one-way street. Oh, and speaking of the two-way street, what if I offered this up? You guys want to see my phone number? Should I just put it? Yep, there it is. Too late now. Well, that's just my voicemail phone number. So what this is you call this number and you could leave a voicemail. In fact, I can actually also set it up. Well, let me just do it here while I'm on another screen here. I'll go to the login here, and I'm pretty sure that this phone would ring if anybody were to call it right now. If anybody were to just happen to call the number on the bottom of your screen right now, I'm pretty sure I'd be able to take that call. Oh, your browser might prevent calls from ringing. I don't want that. All right, well, let me call it myself. Let me just make sure this works here. Oh, look, somebody's calling. Now, why can't I hear it? That's a problem. Can you hear me?
Brody.
Hey, what's going on? Who's this?
Caleb.
Hey, Caleb, how are you?
I'm doing good. You're way delayed. It's kind of funny.
So you can hear me probably on your computer or whatever you're watching on too, is that right?
Yeah, on my TV.
Yeah, so you know what? Maybe turn that down. See, this is my old radio trick. Like, hey, turn down your radio in the background.
Okay.
So can you hear me on the phone okay?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. It works. All right. So, Caleb, what's on your mind, man?
Just doing schoolwork and having you in the background.
What kind of schoolwork? What grade are we talking here? What level? I'll help you out.
Junior geology.
Oh, junior of high school. So, wait, you're
Yeah.
already in school?
Yeah, it started this week.
Oh my goodness. Hey, what's it like?
It's pretty bad.
Yeah,
we have to wear masks the whole day.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking about the same thing, right? Like, when I say what's it like, I don't mean like what's it like to be a junior. I mean what's it like during a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
it's
know,
not-
hey man, I'll say this: you're as much as it's an inconvenience. I know it's frustrating. I wear a mask the entire time now at work. It's been mandated that when we're in the office, unless we're on the air, you're masked up. And I do it. I have a family, looking out for them. I'm sure you do too. So what I want to pass along to you is, I know it sucks, man, but you're doing the right thing, and I congratulate you for being diligent, man. You know, this is a tough time to live in. When I was your age, I didn't have to do this. So
I'm just glad to be back.
I bet.
It's a lot better than online for sure.
Can you do you want to say, I saw your phone number pop up. I'm certainly not going to say it here. You're in the East Bay, I would imagine?
Yeah, kind of Concord.
Concord. Okay. Cool, man. I probably can't help you out with geology. Rocks are hard, sand is not. What else? Like, what are you doing? What kind of stuff are you learning?
Oh, we just started.
All
We're
right.
doing like introductory stuff, so
Man,
syllabus is a lot of those.
I never understood homework. You know, like, what? Don't you do enough during the school day? Like, don't you get to come home and not have to worry about that?
We're there for 7 hours. You think they'd come up with a solution there?
For real, man. Hey, who's your teams?
Oh, A's and Raiders and Sharks, I guess.
All right, so
I don't really rock hockey.
let me ask you about the Raiders, man. Like, you made a choice that when they left, that was still your squad.
Yeah.
What went into that choice? Because I'm curious. So, because people have asked me, like, what if the A's move? Dude, I don't know how I'd feel, and I don't think it's good. But what made you stay with the Raiders even after moving away again?
I hate the Niners. And
I respect that. All right, I get it.
the Raiders didn't lose too much of their core too when they moved
All right.
from Oakland.
All right. So you're a big D-Car fan. All right. Okay. All right.
Well, I got him on my fantasy team.
Oh, there we
He's on the
go.
bench.
Now the truth comes out. All right. Well, hey, man, dude, I thank you for calling in. I'm going to see if I hang up with you. I wonder if anybody else will. But thanks for giving that a whirl, man. And honestly, I didn't even know if it was going to work right. Half the stuff tonight I tried to do, well, a little graphic error before, but I'm glad this worked.
Hey, the show's good.
Thanks, man.
I like it.
I appreciate it. Come back again. I appreciate it, man. Have a
That's
good
for sure.
night.
You have a good night.
All right, thanks.
You too.
Whoa. Sorry, that was loud. There you go. Caleb called in. If you want to, the number's right here. Let me turn this down in case it rings like super loud while I'm not paying attention. But give it a whirl. There's the phone number. Or you know what? Just save the phone number. It goes to voicemail if I don't answer it. So I'll never really pick this up unless I'm live streaming. All right. Let's... Oh. Brody, get the phone. Brody, get the phone. Hello, 630 caller. You're on the air. Who's this?
Yeah, man. This is Tommy.
Tommy, how are you, bud?
I've never seen your channel or anything, but you popped up on YouTube. I was scrolling. I was bored, so I decided I would call in and see if I could talk some baseball with you.
Wow, so you're just discovering this. Awesome, man.
Yeah, I've never seen your channel.
Yeah, nobody even knows who I am really, so that's join the club on that. Hey, where are you from? I saw your 630 area code. Where is that?
I am from Chicago.
Nice. So you're pretty happy about tonight then, huh? Well, maybe. Are you a White Sox fan?
Well, no, I'm actually, sort of, but I'm more of a Brewers fan.
Oh, okay. Brewers fan
The
in
White
Chicago.
Sox are they're like my second team, sort of.
Hey man, you got a good dude in Liam Hendricks. I know tonight was rough with the top of the ninth there in Iowa, but that was a. Did you end up seeing any of that game?
I didn't see it live, but I watched some of it live, and I fell asleep, and then I checked the score, and I saw it was 8-7 Yanks.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, that happened. And then I saw TA walking off, so that was pretty cool. That whole game was sick. That was awesome.
I said before, it was a 4-part deal. It was number one, the idea of it, which has been around. The idea has been around forever. Then number two, it was the flat out execution of it, which also is not easy, right? Getting everybody to buy in on here's the game, here's how you get here. Then it was, to your point, translating the visuals. It's one thing to play this game, but you really have to do it for TV. They did it for TV well. And I think the fourth aspect of it was just who could have come up with a better storyline, obviously, than the Yankees losing, but the Yankees taking a lead in the ninth and then losing it. So I think it was awesome.
Yeah, it was the production was awesome, like with the corn and like they walked through the corn and stuff, and then they walked in and they had the dude from the Field of Dreams movie doing it. That was it was
Wait
awesome.
A second, you don't know who Kevin Costner is? You just call him the dude from the. You're a young guy, aren't you?
Yeah, it's been a while. Like I was very young when I saw it. So
no, man, I no worries, man. I'm the same way. Is it not like 1:18 in the morning where you're at?
Oh, it is. It's 1:18.
So what do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah, are you young guy, student? Do you have a job? What do you do?
I'm 19.
Okay.
I'm a student. I'm on summer break right now. I'm go to college in like a week, but no, I actually fell asleep, and then I just woke up like 30 minutes ago. Or I fell asleep really early tonight because I was tired. And I woke back up and I had a lot of energy, so I just started scrolling on YouTube and came across your stream.
Cool, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate that. I know you don't know me, or I don't know if you care about the Oakland A's or San Jose Sharks, but those are the two teams I cover here in Northern California. But I'm also, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I don't really watch a lot of hockey, but I watch a hell of a lot of baseball.
Cool.
And I'm more of like an NL guy, but I know a little bit about the A's. I know they're doing really well lately. They're right on the Astros' tail.
Yeah. Well, and everybody hates the Astros, right? Come on, you're if you're not from Houston, you don't like what they did. The whole bang bang scandal. Well, hey, you know what? I really appreciate it. I'm gonna see if anybody else is trying to jump on here. It looks like I can only take one caller at a time, but dude, I hope you get some rest tonight. And thanks for calling in. And you know what? Follow the channel, see where it goes. Like I said, if it's not A stuff or anything else, I'm trying to make it mostly about sports, but I kind of want to branch it out a little bit too into other interests and other things that people are talking about. So,
can I ask you one more question?
Absolutely, 100%. What's up?
Do you think the A's? Do you think they can win the division? Do you think they have a legit shot to win the division?
I mean, a game and a half back right now, and 47 to play. It's the definition of striking distance, right? And
but on tape, do you think their team's good enough to beat to overtake the Astros in the whole span of things?
I'm gonna tell you this: if they didn't make the additions that they did before the deadline, I would have felt. I feel like maybe I'd be lying to you and saying, yeah, they can hang. But I truly feel like with Starling Marte, Josh Harrison, Jan Gomes, and Chafin. Right? Yeah, you must have loved Chafin, huh?
Oh God, the Cubs.
Yeah,
a lot of my friends are Cub fans because I'm from Chicago, and they just dismantled their entire roster, their entire bullpen.
I know.
It was pretty. It was weird.
Well, the Cubs.
I'm happy for it because the Cubs are going to suck now, but at the same time, it was pretty fun, battling with the Cubs these last few years.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of sad at the same time.
The Cubs and the Nats, and the A's made a trade with the Nationals too, right, to get Jan Gomes and to get Josh Harrison. But it was one of those things where, again, just with the trade deadline happening, and they got, the A's didn't go out and land. I said this before. They didn't go out and land a Chris Bryant, for example. They didn't land a player of that echelon, but they literally got 4 guys that complement their group so well. And if you've been watching, Starling Marte has been on a tear.
He's a stud. He was in the NL Central for a long time, so I've watched plenty of him. He was at Pittsburgh for a while. So
You know, it's
He's a damn
crazy.
good player.
I mean, for us, like, we know who he is and we watch his highlights and we see him, head to head every couple years. But like, these are his first 15 American League games. And so
He can hit. He can hit.
You know what?
Can hit.
He doesn't try and pull everything. If the pitch is outside, he goes with it. Like, he literally is like, I'm just going to get this hit to right field and get on base and then steal second.
Yeah, he can do that too.
Dude's a stud. So to answer your question, I mean, honestly, if they didn't make the moves that they just did, I would have told you yes, but I would have been like wink, wink, nod, nod. But honestly, right now, I mean, they added to their team in such a major way. And if you're asking me, like, I'm not even going as far as win a playoff series against the Houston Astros, because we saw that last year. We saw how difficult that was last year. It was like a freaking track meet, to outscore the opponent.
Yeah.
But if you're saying, can the A's end 162 with more wins than Houston, I don't see why not. Like, there's nothing that consciously or subconsciously tells me they couldn't. So
the only thing I think with the A's is they've always kind of needed, like, because they played the wild card game, I feel like, a bunch recently, right?
2014, 2018, and 2019. And you know what? Last year, 2020, they won the division, but they had to play in the wild card round because of that new format.
They played the Sox, didn't they?
And they lost game 1 to Chicago, and then they won the next 2 to advance. But my point is, if last year
they beat the White Sox.
They got past Chicago to get to the Astros last year. But if it were a 1-game playoff last year instead of a 3-game quick series, they would have been eliminated for a 3rd straight year. You know what I mean? So that whole
I feel like they need an ace. But
Chris,
it's tough to grab an ace when you're that restricted by the payroll. That's like the advantage. One of the disadvantages of small market.
So Chris Bassett, do a little YouTube as soon as you're done on this live stream. Dude's been
Chris Bassett is not an ace.
What?
He does not have.
Where is the hang up phone? Where is the hang up button here? No, I'm kidding, man. No, you know what? So I know you're saying that because I haven't seen.
I don't know. I haven't watched him a lot.
That's my point. You don't need. So do yourself a favor. So he pitched today. Okay, so he's not going to pitch again for another 5-6 days. But check out his stats, and then try and watch the next time he starts. Try and watch a little bit of it. It's going to paint a picture for you. And when you see where he ranks in the American League in terms of innings pitched, he leads the American League in wins with 12.
Okay, but wins are.
No, I know.
You know baseball.
Wins
are like
ERAs. I think his ERA now 3.06 or something like that. It was down even lower than that. But no, I get you. But I'm also here to say that
I guess that's borderline ace. If you're like 3.1, 3.0.
Wins. I know what you're saying about wins, but he puts the A's in a position to win literally every start. I mean, even in some of the clunkers that he's had, it's like the other team has 4 and he leaves the game after 5. You know what I'm saying? Like the A's are still good enough to overcome that. Their bullpen's been solid. He never leaves him hanging. And I know, like, the name's not new, or or the name's not familiar to you. He's not even a Giolito. You know what I'm saying in terms of recognition.
No, I mean I've heard I know his name. I know Chris Bassett. I just never thought of him as more of like a 2 or 3. Then I mean, what's his stuff like? Is he what's his fat like? What's he throwing, like 92, 93?
Big on the sinker.
He's got 96.
He's got a 12.6. He's not. You know what? He's not really overpowering. He just has so much. He's a good locator.
He's a pitcher.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm telling you, I'm not trying to give you your American League team here, but also check out the names Cole Irvin and James Caprillion, what they've done for the team this year. Those guys weren't even expected to necessarily be in the rotation this year. They've jumped right in. They've been solid too. So the A's are, you know what? The A's are full of good stories. Bassett's one of them, and there's a few others, but.
I do like to root for. I like to root for the A's and the Rays, the small markets.
Yeah. Well, that's what was rough in 2019 when those two teams were in the wild card game. I'm like, man, it sucks that one of you guys has to knock the other out. I wish the Yankees would get knocked out. Wouldn't be in that mix.
I know, right?
So.
Hey, maybe you can knock them out this year. Maybe you'll get them in the wild card game this year.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting to see. So it looks like the Central's only going to send the White Sox, right? Like they'll win the division, but The
easily.
the wild card game is probably going to come from one team in the West and one team in the East. But that means like out East, like if Tampa wins it, then you have the Yankees, Toronto, and Boston. Like two of those teams are going to be disappointed because they're going to have decent seasons and still not get there, not even get to the playoffs.
How about Toronto? Their run differential? I don't know if you are a big run differential guy. I'm a big believer in that. They're like plus 130, and they're only like 10 over. What's up with that?
I think so too. Like I'm with you on run differential, but I also think that a team that's scrappy, that wins a lot of close games, that comes from behind. Like there's something to be said for that too. Now, granted, do you want to just blow all teams out as much as you can? Of course. Like don't even make it a question. Like the A's won 17-0 today. Their run differential went positive 17, literally in one day, which is ridiculous. But, yeah.
I think I guess bullpen's a lot of that too.
I think
if you have a bad bullpen, you're blowing a lot of games. You're bound to lose some close ones.
I think run differential is like a good indication. It's honestly like taking somebody's temperature. Like you could see other things if they were sick or healthy, but if you put that thermometer in their mouth, it's like, okay, that says like 101. Like that's not good, right? Or it's
like the Mariners. It's like they got up to like 8 or 9 over, but they were like minus 50.
Right.
It's like,
exactly.
Right, like these guys, they're not legit.
You're like it's not sustainable, right? It's not sustainable
they're bound to come down there. They're bound to start losing these games at some point. You're not going to get away with doing that over the course of a lot of games.
100%. Hey, man, it was great to chat with you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for finding this channel. Thanks for staying up late. And be well. And, I hope everything out there is going good with the pandemic. You're a young guy. Take care of yourself, okay?
Yeah, I'll make sure to give you a sub. But
thank you.
Keep you any longer. I'll let some other people call in. But, yeah, thanks for the chat.
Appreciate you. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, there we go. Live from... outside of Chicago, did he say? So, yeah, where are we at here on the... Oh, the phone is ringing. And wait a second. What is this? Hang on. I got so many things going on here. Let me get this phone call. All right, from the 925. You're on the live stream. Who is this?
Oh, I'm still on.
Hello?
Sorry, Brody.
Hey, Sean.
I have to go take a shower. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's all right. You called in, you got to run. Hey, I'm glad I'm glad it worked. Have a good night. All right. Simple as that. Came on, had to go. Can I just see, my graphics are all messed up here. Let me see if I can put it on the 209 tacos. The super chat for $250. All right, we got to talk about that in a second. Let me, the phone line's going crazy here. Now you can see my limitations here on the live stream. Hello from the 310. Is that an LA phone number?
Yes, it is.
Who is this? Who am I talking to?
This is Matt. How you doing, Brody?
Matt, how are you, man? I'm doing well. It's getting late. This live stream has gone probably about 40 minutes longer than I thought. But I'm good. How are you? What's going on?
I'm good. I also just stumbled upon your channel today for the first time.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, I'm a huge A's fan, so I'm just very grateful that the YouTube gods bestowed your channel upon me today.
I love to hear it, man. And you know what? The algorithm itself is so weird. I've been making videos now for a couple years, and just recently I've started to see, and I pay attention to it in terms of what resonates, what people like, what they click on, what they're not finding interesting. Because look, I'm here for you. I'm not here to make videos that I want to make. I want to know what people like. But lately it does seem like YouTube is finding a lot more people like yourself. So I'm really glad to hear it. What's it like to be an A's fan in SoCal?
It's actually not too bad. I've been in Anaheim the last 4 or 5 years. I worked at Disneyland, and I would go over to the Angels games whenever the A's were in town, and we have a surprisingly large amount of A's fans there.
I've seen them on the broadcast, like I've seen whenever it's an Angel Stadium game or even a Dodger Stadium. Green and gold does exist. I'm always, it warms my heart to know that let's be honest, small market team like Oakland has fans that are all over and they travel. So it's been a good
Yeah.
season. You've been watching pretty much all the games, or how close do you stay on it?
Yeah, I've been watching all season, and yeah, what a great game today for our run differential. Very very happy with that.
You know, as the game went on, there were two things that I was like, I wonder what's going to happen here. I wondered if they could get to 20, which was very selfish of me, by the way. And I also wondered if the 0 was going to stay up on Cleveland's side. Like I do feel like it's easy to get fixated on once it gets to 12 and 15 and then 17, like, ooh, look at that. But the 0 and Cleveland had 3 hits. That was also pretty impressive, you know?
Yeah, and I was just so impressed with this series, and you were talking earlier about Starling Marte and the new acquisitions. I remember when I saw that trade come across for Luzardo, I was upset at first.
It's a great point.
But I mean, we're gonna miss Luzardo eventually, but I really love what Marte's doing for us right now, and I wish there was a way we could keep him. I don't think we'll be able to.
Yeah.
But you never know.
You know, I was talking to Dontrell Willis today during the game before our post-game show, and I was like, you know, this is the definition of a great two-way trade. Now, if you're the A's, like you have to give up something desirable to get Starling Marte from Florida, and if you're Florida, like Starling Marte was not in your cards, Luzardo is in your cards for the long term. He's from Florida. He's going to get that chance to, you know, be a hometown ball player. And I think the potential is still there to pan out. So, like, both sides honestly got exactly what they wanted out of the deal. Like, who can be upset even? But I do agree with you. The day that it happened, I was like, whoa, Jesus, I did not see that coming. But I also, I'll tell you this, and you tell me if you agree, I flat out did not watch Starling Marte on an everyday basis enough. I did not know he was, I'm embarrassed to say, this good, you know?
Yeah, I saw the stats and I said, okay, yeah, they're trying to get, you know, some hitters that can get our guys home and all that. I was like, okay, you know, but man, he's got some power, he's got some speed, all the things we need. And just today was so impressive, just team-wise in terms of the discipline at the plate. If we can do that consistently, we are a force to be reckoned with.
And I also think, too, it was, you know, called to attention pretty early that with Laureano out the rest of this season, you know, at first it was like, well, you know, this is now, aren't you glad you got Starling Marte? But optimally, like, you want Laureano to still be around. This wasn't like losing one to get another. Yeah, the A's are super lucky that they got an outfielder that, you know, can fill that center field role and do a great job at it. But I wish Ramon were still around. But I do agree. Like, the A's, I'm not so sure that they absolutely needed like a Starling Marte before the deadline, but I'm so glad they got him, you know? So
yeah, absolutely.
I feel like La Stella last year provided that pop, that injection, and now you look at all these guys that are, you know, and I hope Harrison's okay. He hurt his hamstring today, strained it. Hopefully that's just a couple day thing, but and Gomes has been great. Chafin's been great. And it's not to take away from the players this year that have been, you know, solid now for a couple seasons with the A's.
Yeah.
Chappie and Ole, what Bassett's emerged to. I like the fact that Lou Trevino's back on his game. Romo out of the bullpen this year. Man, there was a time at the beginning where I was like, how's this going to go? And now it's like, damn, this guy's back, you know? So
yeah,
it's been fun to watch. Oh, hey, I appreciate the call. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for finding the channel.
Yeah, thank you. You got a new subscriber. I got to ask, where do I get that shirt?
Oh, well, let me help you out. And because I'm pretty sure the same place I got it is the same place that just hooked it up with a $250 super chat here, which, oops, sorry, I screwed something up here on the screen, which is going to go straight to helping this channel grow and help me do more things. But it's lastdivebar.com. It's this shirt. They have other merchandise, mugs, pins, other stuff. There's also a very cool Ride the Wave shirt that they make. And they are so charitable in what they do with the proceeds for these, for the stuff that they sell. They're not just out here to make a profit. They're out here to put that money back to to good use. So I appreciate everybody that's involved with lastdivebar.com. So that's where you get it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. And yeah, I'm glad I found you. I'm originally I grew up in the Bay Area when I was really little. And my dad was a Giants fan. He named me after Matt Williams, the third baseman.
Really?
For the Giants. And
have you ever met Matt Williams?
No, but I know he was our third base coach for a few years, and I'd try to get tickets on that side and see if I can get his attention or something. My dream is to get like an autographed baseball from Matt Williams.
Oh man,
someday.
Okay, well, it's weird. Okay, so this phone number, text me later at this phone number. I'll get it, and give me your email address, something like that. So Matt Williams worked with us at NBC Sports. He was a Giants analyst for a couple of years. I think, was that before or after? That was after he was A's. No, it was before he was an A's bench coach. Anyway, I got to know him really well. I got his phone number. We can make this happen. I'd be happy to do it, especially knowing that you're named after him. That's awesome. Yeah. I was actually named after 49ers quarterback John Brody.
Oh, nice.
I got to meet him when I was a kid. And that was pretty amazing to meet the guy you're named after. But Matt Williams, a great dude. The only thing I can dislike about him is that his baseball years were for the Giants. I wish he were on the he were on the A's. Great guy, great baseball guy, great coach. Just fun to be around. So you have a good namesake.
That's awesome. Yeah, the story behind that is it's amazing because I guess when I was born for 2 weeks, my parents couldn't decide what to name me. And so they called me Baby for 2 weeks. And I guess famously my dad was watching a Giants game and Matt Williams hit a walk-off homer and he said, "We're naming him Matt."
So can I guess you're probably born in the late 80s, early 90s?
1990.
90. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, that's, you know what? That's awesome. That is really cool. Well, I guess you could have been Will the Thrill too. So
That's true.
That is really neat. Well, hey, do me a favor. Yeah, like I said, text me at this number later on, with some info, and then I'll try and make that happen for you. I mean, I haven't talked to him in a while. I know he was coaching overseas last year or 2 years ago, but I think he's back in Arizona. I'll find him. I'll get a baseball, whatever you want for you, and we'll make it happen.
Oh man, that is incredible. Thanks so much, Brody.
Absolutely.
I'll follow up with you soon.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, text the number that you just called here later. I am able to retrieve those. So, have a good night, and thanks for calling in.
Thank you, Brody. Have
awesome.
a good night.
You too. Wow, that was really cool. You know what? Because it's 11:40 here, I don't know how. Well, there's one more call. All right, let's do it. All right, from the 510, you're the lucky last caller tonight. Who is this?
Hi, Brody. This is RJ calling straight out of Oakland, man. How you doing?
Hey, RJ. Good, man. Hey, I heard your computer or whatever on the background. Just turn that down so we don't hear the delay and the feedback. So,
yeah, I'm watching. So
you got it.
I just turned it down.
Cool, man. RJ, what's up? Thanks for calling, man. What's going on?
What's up, man? I just want to say I'm a huge fan of your content, dude. It's good to see somebody out there talking A's baseball. And I just had a question for you. See what you thought about our A's and our chances on staying in Oakland and what you felt about that.
Yeah, well, first off, thank you for just being here and saying that, man. I mean, there's, in my opinion, there could be a lot more of this content on this team out there, and so I'm just trying to do my part and like we do on TV, right? Trying to rep the town, literally. Where I stand in my hopes, right? I imagine it's probably the same way that you are. That you don't want them to leave no matter what. And I'm the same way. I also realize the more we get deeper in this process that building something new at the Coliseum site, it could happen, it could keep the team, but it's just not going to do what it's supposed to do. And it may even be almost regrettable in 15 to 20 years. You built this, and for example, Levi Stadium with the 49ers. It's still new. It's still, shiny, and it's got some new bells and whistles, but what are they going to think of that stadium in 15, 20 years? Where it's at? You know what I'm saying? So that makes me think that Howard Terminal is the spot. That's where they got to go. That's where the energy is. That's where, Oakland could be improved, definitely, in terms of not just what the stadium would bring to those 55 acres, but also the area around it. I also don't think you're not kicking people out of their homes. At least that's the plan. Because I also understand too, right? You can't just come marching in to a different neighborhood of Oakland and say, well, we're taking this over. Everybody else is in trouble. And I don't think they're trying to do that at all.
No.
So look, I think it's a great thing. You're asking me chances. It remains to be seen. I mean, these two sides have totally different objectives. I think the main thing is that none of them really want the team to go anywhere. But you obviously have the city that's trying to protect itself from past things that they've got into, and making the right decision, making sure they make the right decision. So I'm pretty optimistic, to be honest with you, but a lot remains to be seen.
For sure, man. I mean, as a guy that goes to all the games, season ticket holder for a couple years, obviously not this past year.
Yeah.
It's tough, and I'm a big Raiders fan, and the Raiders are gone. And it's like, this is all we got.
Yeah, I hear you.
We need it.
Hey, you know what? It's important to me for a lot of reasons, personally and professionally too. Hey, you know what? I hate to cut you off. I got the baby monitor over here. I'm actually got to end the live stream because my son just woke up. So I got to help him.
Hey, no problem, brother.
I'm so sorry.
Have a nice night.
I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for being here, man. I really do appreciate it.
Nice talking to you, man.
Thank you. And on that note, I'm actually gonna close out the window so I don't get too many more phone calls. I have to go back to this. It's amazing. 209 Tacos hooking it up with the $250 super chat. Live streams during games. I mean, we're that much closer to that, to me buying some more stuff here that I can bring to the office, and that's what this is all about. This channel, I just want it to grow. I want it to be better. I want it to be better for all of you, and the content that we're able to connect on. So thank you so much for watching. Like I said, got to go in the other room, help my son fall back asleep. That's it for the live stream. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you back on TV tomorrow night.